It's July, which means it's time to set up our summer trail cams. Here's where and why I'm putting them to achieve the best success going into the fall. There's the deer stand I hunt out of, so going into my first camera, it's right there. First tip I'd like to offer you guys, place your cameras close to your stands. There's the stand, there's the camera. Now that leads into an entire debate about, tree stand placement, because if your tree stand's in a bad spot and you put your camera by it, that's also not a good sign, but let's just assume that your tree stand's in a reliable, good spot. From my stand, I have a reliable shooting lane there and a big reliable shooting lane over my food plot here, as well as some in the open cover, of course, but primarily two areas, the food plot and then the draw that comes down into the food plot. Now the reason my trail cam is set up here is because this is what I want pictures of. This is where the deer are coming. I know they're coming here to eat. I know that they're passing through a trail right through here, going under my stand, in fact. They come through here all the time. I get pictures of them. But if I didn't have a camera, if I couldn't reliably know that there were deer here, it's easy to say that, duh, put your camera where the deer are, but that's a harder question, knowing where the deer are. So something I would do is definitely put your camera over a food source. So in my case, it's over the food plot right behind me. Maybe you don't have a super defined food source, like a food plot established quite yet, or you don't have an ag field or something like that. Check for sign. For me, I don't have to look too hard. Tracks in here let me know they're traveling through here. Sometimes you'll find droppings, and that's a really good clue to where they are. Got fresh tracks right here on the ground, probably leading further that way into the food plot. So two good rules of thumb I have so far is that you want to make sure that your food plot is over a place you can actually hunt. So my first two rules of thumb are that, one, you want to make sure that your cameras are over a spot you can actually hunt. That may sound obvious, but I know it would be great if we could all afford it to have 200 cameras out over your entire property. You want to know how many 10 points you got, how many 8 points, if you have any crazy ones, any crazy non-typicals, any 200-inch deer. Everyone wants more cameras. But that's just not affordable, not reasonable to have. And then there's probably ethical questions that come into play. But first, make sure you can actually hunt where your camera's at. That way you know what deer you can actually hunt later on. Another tip is that having your camera over food sources, like the food plot behind me, is a great way to make sure that you're going to have reliable deer coming in. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is water sources would probably be in the same category. I don't have any water sources. They're around this property, but there's no actual water sources on this property. So the deer come from just beyond the property line to get their water from a pond and then come in. But had I owned that pond, or had I had a water hole, I probably would put a camera by it, because deer need food and water. Pretty obvious this time of year, which means if you put a camera on it, there's going to reliably be deer there. Another great spot to have your cameras is over a mineral lick. I personally love having my cameras over a mineral lick because I love knowing what bucks are coming through, getting this mineral lick, getting the minerals they need for their antlers, and it's another reliable spot, if it's legal in your state, to have a camera. So this camera right here, its only purpose is to get deer coming into here. It does not film a wide open field, it's not going to get a wide point of view, it's only faced on this lick. And it's worked out great for me. Here's some pictures. So I have a 2-camera system, and I'll show you exactly where they are in relation to each other. So this is a camera that is directly across from my other camera, which, let's see how good this zoom is way over there. This is the food plot. My stand is right over there. Not quite sure if you can see it, but it's essentially right there. So across the food plot, across this trail that they have established, I put a mineral lick. And the mineral lick is great because bucks come over here, they eat on it. I mean, so do does and fawns, but I have this mineral lick here primarily for bucks, to monitor what bucks I have. Bucks are starting to come into velvet this time of year. This camera gets all of that. And this is a Reveal Cacticam 3.0, I believe. Reveal X 3.0, I believe. I think that is a 2nd gen model, but don't quote me on that. That's essentially all of my summer trail cam plans, where I'm putting them, why I'm putting them there. Only have a 2-camera system. I might go out and actually buy another one. While filming this video, I realized, how nice would it be to have a camera that was able to film all up through here? Because right now I'm really only getting this space, and I want to know how many deer are coming in from over there and coming down this way, or up in here, because this is where the new food plot's going in, trying to connect these two sections right here. So it'll be interesting. I'll let you guys know if I do end up going to a 3-camera system instead. But that's all I had for you guys. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.